On this episode of Film Optics, we're going to be talking about how everything is delayed and shut down due to the corona pandemic. We're also going to be talking about Kevin Smith's rumors in joining the MCU, and Kevin Feige is in talks about making a new Spider-Woman movie. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Film Optics, where we bring you the headline hot takes of entertainment news. I'm your host, Christian, and today we will be talking about the world of film, TV, and everything pop culture related. And as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Devin. How is your quarantine going?
Staying alive.
Staying alive. Man, it has been very, very rough. We started working from home this week, and it's just like, I mean, the first few days I was like, yeah, this is like really, really awesome. And then after a while, this is what, day 4? And I literally just got off work, hopped on, and we're recording. And I was just like, I mean, it's cool, you know, like I'm off, I'm already home, but I'm starting to lose it a little bit. But
Yeah,
you know,
it's tough to keep that motivation.
it really is. Well, I
Especially
mean,
when devices and nap areas are readily available.
well, you see, my devices and nap area and my work area is all in the same room.
Exactly.
So it's, I mean, it's nice, but at the same time, I just feel like it's, I don't know, man. It's not ideal, obviously, but you know, we got to keep safe. You know, even if we do have the corona, we don't want to spread it to anyone else, and that's the most important part. It's keeping everyone else safe. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's been going pretty good. Doom comes out tomorrow, so
Oh yes, we're all
we
very
got that.
excited.
Got that Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing, so that's cool. But before we begin today's topics, you can listen to us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Google Music, Anchor, YouTube, Podbean, and drumroll Devin, because we're on iHeartradio. It finally happens. It
Hell
finally. I actually. Well, when I put in the request for our podcast to be on their platform, they gave me an email saying, yeah, it would take about 10 to 14 days. It had been about maybe 20. So I was like, I'm just going to reach out to them and see what's going on. And I was like, yo, we put this up. You know, we put this in for submission. Haven't heard anything back. What up? And they're like, oh, we're sorry. We'll get back to you within like the next 24 hours. And then like maybe like 2 hours later, they're like, yeah, everything should be good to go. So you can find that link in our link tree description on literally any social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And as well, I'll put a link in the description of this, whether it be on YouTube or whatever podcast platform you are listening to. But the next step, Devin.
I guess iHeartRadio finally hearts us.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long day. It's been a long few days without our. I didn't even realize iHeartRadio had podcast, but here we are. But you know, the next step is Devin. Xfinity. No, not Xfinity. XM Radio.
I was about to say, Xfinity does podcasts now.
Yeah, we're going digital. We're going internet, interweb. But yeah, man. So there's been a lot of just random cancellations. Everything's canceled, or not canceled, I should say. Delayed in a way. So we have
came out in Pennsylvania that every non-essential business is shut down.
Well, actually, except GameStop, they actually are staying open.
They're stupid.
I saw that. I actually went to GameStop yesterday because my buddy's like, yo, you want to play some Fortnite? And I was like, you know what? Normally I would say no, but given the circumstances, yeah, I'll play with you. So I bought like a super cheap headset for my PlayStation 4. It was about $10, $15. And we played a little bit of Fortnite yesterday. So it was pretty cool.
How cute.
Yeah. I mean, I got a few winner chicken dinners in there. So yeah, this just me solo. But I mean, it's I mean, you know me, I suck with mouse and keyboards. So when it comes to, the console space, when it comes to the controllers, that's my bread and butter, unless it's Overwatch. I'm just kidding. But anyway, let's get into these weekly stories this week. Devin, you want to take the first one? We're going to mix it up here a little bit.
AMC, it's over for
It's
6 to 12
over.
weeks.
They're closing? Oh, 6 to 12 weeks. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you meant they're going out of business. Okay.
I mean, they might, who knows?
Yeah, but yeah, this this comes from comicbook.com. Coronavirus update. Originally, AMC theaters and a lot of other theaters were limiting their spaces to about 50% capacity for each viewing. And we got a new update saying that we're going to be closing for 6 to 12 weeks. But yeah,
Our,
so I don't
our
know.
subs A-list accounts will be paused apparently automatically.
Yes, I actually reached out to AMC on Twitter and they followed me back, which was really weird. And I looked to see what their follower count was. And I'm like, they have just as many followers as they as they do followers and following. So I'm like, okay, well, they follow everyone then. So I guess I'm not that special. But the lady who I was talking to, I asked her, hey, I was trying to cancel my subscription myself, until all this blows over. And she said, hey, you know what? No worries. We're actually planning on pausing everyone's AMC A-list account until further notice. So that should be in effect already. So that, which is really, really cool.
Wouldn't
Which
that
I
wouldn't that suck if your pay cycle like just hit like a few days
actually
before?
mine almost did. It was like a few days before, and I paused it myself online. I'm like, okay, it gives me a option to pause it for like a month, which is weird, but apparently you have to like call into AMC to get that removed. I don't know. But no, that would actually really suck. But it actually happened with my gym because they closed down our gym and then literally 2 days later they charged my account. And I was like, "Hold on. I got to talk to somebody about this." But yeah, RIP AMC theaters. Anything else
I
you want?
actually heard that theaters in China were planning on showing older blockbusters like all the Avenger movies and the Star Wars movies like when they
Oh,
open back up
please.
in order to try to get some good business back in. I think that's a really good idea.
I think
America
it's a
should take
great
that
idea
step.
as well. Yeah. Hmm. I wouldn't mind seeing Revenge of the Sith in theaters again. Or honestly, you know what? I want to see in theaters again. I want to see Lord of the Rings trilogy extended edition. That's what I want to see. What about you?
I would definitely not mind seeing the Avengers again. A couple of
Well,
those
okay,
movies.
all of them, or just Infinity War.
Let's just say not Age of Ultron.
Why does everyone hate that movie? Like, I think I belong in the 1% who actually enjoys it. Yes, it has its flaws, but
It's
I don't
just
know.
not up to par.
My gosh. What up? What did we see Age of Ultron together? I can't remember. I
I
feel
don't
like
even remember seeing it.
I don't know. I can't remember who because we saw the first Avengers together. We didn't see Infinity War together, but we saw Endgame together. I don't know
Yeah,
if we saw Age of Ultron together. We saw Star Wars. What was it? Force Awakens.
yeah.
That was fucking love that movie. It's so good. But it is what it is. So let's go on to our next story here. It's all about the Screams. The Scream reboot has found its director from the Ready or Not filmmakers, Matt Bellinelli, Bettinelli, Olpen, and Tyler Gillett. So what do you think about this? I mean, you're more of a horror person than I am. So, I mean, for me, I think it's kind of cool, but at the same time, I don't really care about Scream. I think it's overplayed, it's boring, it's just not my style.
I think it feels like a pretty perfect match because of the kind of horror and somewhat comedic elements mixture that they got going on for Ready or Not would fit nicely with Scream. Scream's like the first horror movie that kind of didn't take itself very seriously when it came out back in the '90s. So it's a good fit, I think.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with you there. Yeah, for Ready or Not, we did review it, so if you want to go check it out, we're plugging it in right now.
One of my
But
favorites from last year for sure.
oh, absolutely. Even I mean, this last year it was pretty big for me when it came to horror. There's still a few things. I mean, I saw Us, I bought it, I watched it. It was good. I really did like it, but I think I liked Get Out just a little bit better.
It's hard
I'm
not
not
to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially me knowing the twist. I knew the twist going into the movie because I listened to like 3 or 4 people's podcast reviews about it, and I was like, "Oh man, like that's really cool." But I mean, even like not knowing, I think it was Nerd Soup that I listened to, and I believe Aaron, the Nerd Soup monkey, um had mentioned that he pretty much figured out, the twist early on. He said he liked it, but it was good. Just I think there's been better. But let's just was there anything else you wanted to touch on that before we mosey on down to the Disney studios, going back to coronavirus concerns and pandemics and whatnot?
Everything is canceled. That's pretty much what the rest of the news is.
Yep. I mean, everything's canceled. All right, everyone. That concludes today's podcast. 12 minutes and 6 seconds long. The shortest podcast we've ever done here. So we'll see you guys later. But yeah, pretty much. Disney Studios has literally stopped all productions between their TV shows and their movies due to the coronavirus pandemic. And there's actually a little bit of a list. I mean, I'll just read off just a few here, just for the live actions so far that are were in production. We have Little Mermaid, Shang Chi, the new Home Alone, Nightmare Alley, Peter Pan and Wendy, and Honey I Shrunk the Kids. A new one's coming out for that. And yeah, I mean, it sucks. I feel like we've touched on this a little bit between this week and these past weeks, and it is a bit depressing, you know what I mean, just to we know these things are going to get pushed back, but it's just like seeing them, it's just making me more depressed because it's like,
And the fact that it's just everything, like no matter what, except
yeah.
unless you're Tom Cruise, of course.
Of course. Yeah. Well, yeah. And actually, yes, with Tom Cruise, he has, they are decided to continue filming despite the coronavirus concerns. I can't necessarily say this is a smart thing.
He didn't let
Um,
a broken leg stop him for Mission Impossible, so
that is true. I mean,
he wants to keep on trucking.
yeah, it's, I mean, it makes it seem like it's very commendable, and like, I get it. If you're filming on location somewhere, if you're isolated from the rest of the world, I'm assuming it's fine, but I don't want to, make any type of assumptions myself. So I'm just gonna, I mean, good for them. Cool. This is day 4 of my quarantine. So I've been trying to fill my time with, when I'm not working, either, trying to figure out what movies we're going to review. And speaking of movie reviews, really quick, we're going to be reviewing Guns Akimbo. So for this coming up Sunday that will be released. So keep an eye out for that. But we still got to figure out what to review. I think we were talking about it earlier, but let's get back to the news at hand. So Disney suspends everything. And since we're talking about it, yes, for those of you who don't know, Black Widow has been suspended. So has a plethora of others between Fantastic Beasts 3, Witcher 2, Witcher Season 2, Stranger Things, Grace and Frank, Milan, Quiet Place 2, Peter Rabbit. The list goes on and on. Literally anything that's pretty much coming out within the next 2 to 3 months. And beyond, actually. I mean, we got to love Fast and Furious 9 for pushing it back an entire year because that makes sense. But oh well. So what else do we have here, Devin? The K Feige man. He's interested
The
in
Hat
a
Man,
hat man. He does like he I've never seen him without a hat, and I don't know if I want to.
you don't want to.
Have you seen pictures?
Yes.
Are they
Weird.
frightening? Are they as frightening as Stephen Carell dressing up as Groot?
No, nothing is as frightening as that.
Yeah, how old, my little friends? I cannot wait for that new movie to come out. I'm not like I've only seen the first Despicable Me, but like it just looks hysterical, and I love Steve Carell so much. So yeah, this story actually comes from the MCU exchange. It is rumored that Kevin Feige is interested in a new deal with Sony for Spider Woman into the MCU. So this seems pretty interesting.
I know they had kind of like weird rights issues where they could use like her real name but not use Spider Woman. So I guess maybe they're trying to get the full rights for the
Yeah,
MCU.
so right. And so for those who don't know, Spider-Woman's name is Jessica Drew. And as Devin just mentioned, that stuff is pretty complicated. And it's very strange though, isn't it? It's, because Disney does own the rights to Spider-Man. They own the film rights, I mean not film rights, excuse me, the TV rights, especially and video games, all that mess. I know with Spider-Man PS4, that was a specific deal made between Insomniac, Marvel, and Sony. So yes, Spider-Man does own. I mean, excuse me, Marvel still owns the video game rights to Spider-Man as well as the film. I mean, oh my god. I'm losing it today, as well as the TV and comic book rights. But it's just the films that Sony has their grubby little hands over, but it's cool. But I don't know. Did you have anything else to pretty much noteworthy to say about this, or do you think this can turn into something as we've seen with Spider-Man between Marvel and Sony before,
Who
or
knows? It's just so weird having this split. Like, just buy Sony or buy Spider Man. Disney, come on, just
yeah?
do it.
I mean, hopefully they get enough money one day, but there might be another company out there who's lurking in the shadows and ready to pounce on Disney themselves. But we'll get into that.
Nice mouse Thanos.
Mouse Thanos. Well, yeah, we'll definitely get into that story a little bit later down the line because I think it's pretty interesting. Unless you want to talk about it now, honestly, it's not that noteworthy. But um, well, since it was a nice segue, we'll just do it now really quick. So this comes from the Hollywood Reporter. This is an analyst, and we all know how we love analysts, right, Devin? Where they're the world's full of them, and they're always right. Correct?
100%.
100%. So this comes from the Hollywood Reporter that Apple could acquire Disney amidst the stock drop, but
It
um,
feels like a
it,
pretty rash
yeah,
decision or
it's a big
prediction.
one.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening either. I mean, Apple definitely has the money for it, but I mean, Pixar used to be a part of Apple before. I mean, yeah, before Disney bought them out. If memory serves me correctly, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Steve. I think Steve Jobs was a big part in getting Pixar
Right.
off the ground.
Yes, he was. And I mean, if they come back together, I mean, it could be a nice little match made in heaven. Cause I mean, you have Apple TV Plus, they could take over Disney Plus, and maybe I mean, can you see Dickinson on on Disney Plus or vice versa? Like, oh, Apple TV Plus. They would probably keep it as Apple TV Plus and then just put all the Disney content on Apple TV Plus. Because I mean, it's cool. I know a lot of people, I see people's tweets saying, oh, Disney Plus isn't really that worth it. And I'm like, well, it depends on what you're looking for. Because for me, and I know a lot of other people, I mean, we watch The World According to Jeff Goldblum, the Marvel Superhero Project. Obviously, we've watched The Mandalorian. Now at least I'm watching episode by episode of Star Wars. But you better start catching up. We got that season 7 review to do. Have you started?
I mean, we got a while for that if it's going week by week.
Yeah. Oh, that is true. Well, at least I mean you'll probably binge them, but it's very good so far. The animation style is they've definitely ramped it up, and it doesn't feel out of place so far. But yeah, as we were saying before, Apple definitely has the pockets to buy Disney, but will they? And is it a smart business decision? As of right now, probably not. But I don't know. Anything else you wanted to touch on that before we head into this nice little Kevin Smith rumor here?
Good old Kevin Smith, the comic boy himself.
Yeah. Do you want to take this one from me, Devin?
He has heard rumors. Of course, he always hears rumors and he always sees things because he just ends up on sets of productions and sees all the secrets. But
Right.
there might be a famous Marvel lawyer in Spider-Man 3, which could mean one of
Hmm.
two things. Either She-Hulk, famous Marvel lawyer, or Daredevil, another famous Marvel lawyer.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. This story comes from mcucosmic.com, from our boys over there, and from Mr. Jeremy Conrad, Mr. Marvel himself. It looks, I mean, I've never watched Daredevil. Have you?
No, I never got into any of the Marvel TV shows
I
because
didn't either. Well, I started Jessica Jones for like a hot minute, then I kind of stopped.
the production
But
value just was not there.
yeah, but apparently Daredevil is like very good, and I would definitely most likely would like to check it out. And honestly, what better time now than to watch it? But at the same time, we have Doom Eternal to play, so there's a lot of priorities that need to be going on here. But yes, this does look very interesting and very promising. I know there's a lot of fans out there clamoring for Daredevil, the TV Daredevil
And I think if they were
to
to take anyone from the TV shows, it would be Daredevil. No, like
yeah.
no one else would be worth it.
Honestly, yeah, because I totally agree because clearly, 3 seasons strong, and literally anyone I know who watches the show just cannot stop talking about how good it is. And so yeah, that's just cool. I mean, I'm all for it. I definitely would like to sit down and watch what everyone else has been talking about for a while. So, yeah, good. I mean, I'm hoping Kevin Smith, gets into the MCU and he can continue carrying the legacy that isn't Ben Affleck playing Daredevil. So, but we got another piece of Marvel news here. I believe this will be the last piece of Marvel news. Yes, it will be. So, Amelia Clark, lovely, lovely Amelia Clark, is open to joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe to have a quote unquote giggle with the Avengers. And this comes from comicbookmovie.com. I know Devin probably doesn't care that much. Am I right? I mean,
I mean, I don't even know. Like, is there any Marvel characters who giggle a lot? Is that she's trying to hint at something, or
maybe I couldn't tell you. She's a sneaky one over there. But
it
as
also
we all
just
know,
could just be a British thing to say?
yeah, it, it,
Have a
it could be.
giggle.
Have a giggle. Well, have a giggle, mate. Oh man. Sometimes I feel like I can do a good English impression or British impression, but then again, I'm not entirely sure. I would have to confirm that with my mates across the pond. So,
I feel like she should have had a role in Eternals maybe with her buddy Kit.
oh yeah, well, Kit and we have Richard Madden as well.
Yeah,
Um, so it's like let's just Game of Thrones it up. Put Maisie Williams in, Sansa Stark. Let's go, Sophie Turner.
she's a new mutant.
Yeah, she is. And Sansa she was part of the old mutants, so she could do it again, but she's pregnant. So that's throws
The
a little bit of
the dark pregnant phoenix.
a dark pregnant phoenix. They could I would watch that show or film or whatever they turn it into. But yeah, that's just a little bit of a well, I'll read the small little quote that she had to say. She said, "I think if I did, um, it would This is so weird. It would be me having a giggle, Clark shared with the Times about joining the franchise. I want to do something absolutely stupid and silly, like, the Avengers or whatever, something where something where I got to have a giggle with mates. So
Yeah.
cool. I mean, I'm all for it. So Marvel, let's make it happen. But also, Devin, so amidst all of this, we've been talking about all this corona, delays and what have you. Contagion, which we actually did a movie review on. You should go check it out, everyone.
Very
Becomes this
timely.
very, very timely because apparently it has become the second hottest movie in Warner Brothers library due to the coronavirus. And I mean, it's a good movie. And there's other ones out there. You get 28 days later. Um, you
I
can
actually
get
saw a post on Facebook of someone. They posted the trailer for it and said, "Look at what they're making. It's coming out soon." And the reply was like, "Bro, this came out like 10 years ago." They're trying to post it all woke, like
yeah.
they already have a movie for this virus. Like, no, it's
And also wouldn't make any sense because why would a movie coming out about a virus be coming out in theaters where no one can go? But
Facebook. It's awful.
Facebook. Yeah, I can't stand it when people try to act all woke and all wise and whatnot. It's like, shut up. You probably don't know that much else than any of us. But yes, excuse me, Contagion came out in 2011, so it's more of a thriller, has more of a search backup. I mean, I saw a lot of people actually reviewing it this past weekend, so that's pretty cool. But it is, it's pretty accurate, to how things are happening and today's times and um someone on Twitter had said they said this movie Contagion was released 9 years ago. Corona prediction? Question mark. It's like no, it's
Nope.
no. If anything, it was a Simpsons prediction because they know everything. So let's move on to our next bit of news here. Speaking of coronavirus, Devin, I want to ask you: would you pay $20 for a 48-hour rental
No.
of a movie?
No. Even if it was just in theaters. It's just not worth
What if
it.
it was Black Widow?
Maybe.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
know I know you said you would not pay to see Black Widow because you would rather wait for theaters.
Yes, that is very true. That was the question of the latest LCB podcast, and they were going around asking people on Twitter, and I was like, I want to see this on the big screen. I want to sit there with my Twizzlers, my water. I don't really eat popcorn all that much anymore, but I want to see.
I wouldn't be able to hold out. I gotta avoid those spoilers and then get in on the hot gossip after watching it. It's too
Uh,
much.
Yeah, but like I feel like they wouldn't even put this on a streaming because the budget is so big. They would need to create like digital tickets for people to see it within a certain time frame.
Yeah, I don't see it happening, but
Yeah, I definitely
Universal is
don't.
making it happen.
Yeah, yeah, and that was a great segue. That was coming out to my point. So the Invisible Man, The Hunt, and Emma, all three movies under Universal Picture Studios, are going to be available on video demand, aka home release tomorrow, Friday, which this will be releasing. So each film will be available as a 48-hour rental at the suggested price of $20. I
I mean,
don't
it makes
like it.
sense. It makes sense for them because they have to make back their money somehow, and this would be
Right.
money like mostly directly to them. But like, no, not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, and I was talking to Cinemania Squad about this, and Dwayne was talking about if you have a family of four, and you pay $20 to
That
watch it.
is the scenario where it makes sense. If you
It
have
is,
one,
but at the same time, how many times are you going to watch The Hunt? How many times are you going to watch Invisible Man?
well, you only get 48 hours anyways.
Right. Well, we'll see. And I'm trying to figure out within 48 hours, because we know since we watched Guns Akimbo, we rented it through Vudu, which was only $7, by the way, not paying $20 for a rental. I'm sorry. It's just no. Like, I could be using that money to actually buy like a physical copy of a movie or a straight up digital standard edition of a movie. But it's like, how many times are you going to watch it? Because when we watched Guns Akimbo, it said that we had 30 days to watch it. But as soon as I started watching it, um, it let me know beforehand and said, hey, if you start this now, you only have 24 hours to watch it, I believe it was. So I'm assuming it would be the same principle. They would just double the time. But I mean, we saw Invisible Man. We reviewed Invisible Man. I mean, that is a movie for me. I would probably see like at least maybe once or twice. I don't know if I would pick it up day one Blu-ray. I would definitely wait for a sale, but I don't think, yeah, like let's watch The Hunt like 2 to 3 times. We have a 48-hour period with it. I mean, if you want to watch it for that amount of time, that's great. But for us, since we pay $20 a month for movies when it comes to the AMC A list, it's not a good deal for us. I thought they were coming out, to own. If it was to own, that makes sense. But for rental, for me, it's just not worth it.
Yeah,
If
20 is just too much, especially for
I would,
these are 3, like, smaller movies, like, they aren't blockbusters.
right. Yeah, definitely not. So, I mean, make of that what you will. Let us know in the comments below if you're listening to this on YouTube. If you would pay $20 for a 48-hour release of these 3 movies, obviously anyone would say, yeah, I would do it for Black Widow. I can watch it a few times because everybody wants to see Black Widow. Everybody wants to see Wonder Woman or A Quiet Place, etc., or even the new James Bond movie. Obviously, people would see the value in that because those are bigger blockbusters. But for these, like you said, they are smaller movies. It's just not worth it for us. So, but you know what? 2 movies that are coming out on video demand to own on the 24th is Birds of Prey and The Gentleman. I'm very, very excited because I will be buying The Gentleman. I actually cracked today. I'm not sure if you noticed on Vudu, but I bought Little Women because I was afraid that my physical copy wasn't going to come by the time that all this blows over, or if it ever comes, in general, if they try to push it back. But would you buy The Gentleman or Birds of Prey to own, Devin?
I don't really buy movies, so that's
That
more
is very true.
your forte.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, yeah. I mean, you got a Blu-ray player. You'll see the value one day. I promise. No. I'm kidding. But yeah, Birds of Prey, I probably would have to actually pass on it. I would buy it when it comes out on sale. I mean, we saw it, we reviewed it. Um, it was good for what it was. It really entertained me, but I don't see the rewatchability in it. For The Gentleman, for me, I'm all there. All day. All day, mate. But you want to take this next story here, Devin?
Shudder, which is something you have not heard of, and I've
I thought you were talking about the movie
vaguely heard of.
Shutter Island.
But Shudder, the online horror streaming service, is offering a 30-day free trial for us self-quarantine people, which I might take up on, just kind of check it out. And never had before, but it's free, so maybe they
Yeah,
might have
maybe it's
some good stuff in there. Who knows?
maybe if what was it? If Hereditary is in there, because I still haven't seen that, I might. But I think that's on Amazon Video.
Yeah,
So I
Hereditary
might.
is on Amazon, so
Oh, well, there you go. I can
definitely
watch it whenever.
recommend it.
And that's the area I asked you, right? Same
Yeah.
as yeah, that's from Miss. I loved Miss Summer though. Florence Pugh, marry me. Sorry. So again, so since we are talking about more of this coronavirus, excuse me, news going on, this is something I really did want to talk about. And it was Amazon is to stop accepting all products other than medical supplies and household staples to its warehouses amid the coronavirus crisis. That almost rhymes, but not as much.
I kept seeing different news for this. I saw that they were like putting a hold on that stuff, but I also saw that they were stopping all of it. I don't know which one.
Right. And I wanted to ask you, when it comes to physical releases, whether it be, video games, movies, TV show seasons, vinyl records, whatever have you, physical pieces of media, do you think that are they suspending? Because I saw a few people on Twitter, Final Fantasy VII remake is coming out early April. So I was trying to figure out, is this something that is going to be pushed back? Because I talked to a guy on Twitter and he said that his order got pushed back. I haven't gotten a single email or anything. It still shows, on my orders that it's on track. Same with my Little Woman DVD or Blu-ray, whatever you want to call it. So I'm kind of confused by it because are they still shipping these types of things? Because I also plan on getting, the Rise of Skywalker on when it comes out on physical. But I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts about it?
I mean,
Like, do you think this
I
is going to
ordered
be like a?
some
Sorry, go ahead.
Gatorade, and that's supposed to come in on Sunday. I don't know if Gatorade's an
Gatorade.
essential house item, but
I mean, it's a drink, so I guess it would be. But yeah, I wanted to, like, do you think this will have like a long lasting effects on, people pre-ordering, non essential goods?
I saw that Amazon was looking to hire like I think it was either 10 or 100,000 new employees because they need so much help from all the corona stuff. So
I heard about that too.
there might be a bit of a long-term effect
Stretch.
with your Amazon purchases.
Yeah, and I totally understand, the health and safety of the entire world is more important than, oh, I'm not getting my video game on said day because of blah 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 coronavirus. I'd rather the world be healthy than to, risk the have them risk, getting people sick by, if there might be someone at, Amazon or Best Buy warehouse or Target, wherever it may be, that has coronavirus and they don't even know. And then, everyone's handling each other's packages and whatnot. I mean, yeah, you can put on gloves, but I mean, a warehouse is full of people and they're starting to shut down a lot of that. A lot of places that have no necessities, bars, even weddings, which is very upsetting for a lot of people. But yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I mean, it sucks, but that's life, and health comes first, and that's the most important thing. But we got a little bit of gaming news here, Devin. A lot
Gaming
of stuff
news.
happened this week.
A
Like,
lot.
holy crap. Xbox coming out with the full spec reveal. We actually got to look at the console through Digital Foundry. Like, Microsoft sent them a Xbox One X, and it's almost about as tall as if you either took an Xbox One X and put it on its side. That's about how tall it would be. Actually, yeah, maybe a few centimeters shorter. And then there is, if you were to stack two GameCubes on top of each other, that would almost be about the shape and the height of what it is. Did you see that at
Yes,
all? Or
it's not quite the size of a fridge despite the odd shape, but
yeah, yeah. Well, apparently they did that they knew that this console, excuse me, was going to be so powerful that the main concern was airflow through and that's why they created it. Their architectures made it more as a stand-up tower. And I gotta say, Devin, I might have to pick it up depending on how much it costs, obviously. And yes, we have the PC, but if I want to chill and just play on my TV, play on my console, whatever, what have you, I can kind of do that from my couch and whatnot. I think it's pretty nice, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah,
But
I
it
still don't see a point as long as you have PCs, but I don't know.
yeah, I mean,
You
I'll
could get
definitely
could get one of those, $1 Steam links.
dude, have you used yours since we bought those?
No.
I was going through some old stuff, like cleaning up my room, putting like all my like cords and cables, connectors together, and I ran across it. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, is this my Amazon Fire TV? I'm like, oh my God, it's my Steam Link. No, like what's going on? And I thought about it. I was like, I totally could. And honestly, I am in the position where I could do that. Where, like I have my TV and my PC slash workstation now set up, all within the same room. So maybe we'll just have to, I don't know. But the thing that I will be um checking out, definitely, I am interested in the PlayStation 5, and they hosted a roadmap to PlayStation 5 event. And I know Devin was showing me about this, showing me some stuff about this. I actually watched the event as it was live, and as soon as they said Mark Cerny, man, it was just, I knew exactly what it was going to be. It was just going to be a bunch of tech specs and something the average consumer is not going to care about whatsoever. And I'm still interested in it because it's backwards compatible. I already have a PC, and may or may not get the Xbox Series X. To be honest, I probably won't, but I mean, it maybe down the line. It just depends on my situation and where I am and what have you. But I definitely would like to get a PlayStation 5. But a lot of people were kind of disappointed that the PlayStation 5 was not fully backwards compatible with the PlayStation 1 through 3, all the way up to the 4. It is backwards compatible with PS4 games. Um, and I know a lot of people were clamoring for that. There's a few things I don't understand why people are getting kind of mad, because they're mad that they're pretty much taking the same approach that Xbox did. Because you remember when Xbox first came out with backwards compatibility, it was 360 titles only, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, so in I'm not trying to oh, I'm a Sony fanboy or whatever. It's like, no, I like to play devil's advocate. I would say I do gravitate a little bit more towards Xbox when it comes to, everything that Devin and I and all of our friends we met on Xbox. So it kind of holds a little special place in our heart. But um, I try to play devil's advocate with these types of situations and try to be fair to both sides, because everyone's saying, oh, the Xbox Series X is more powerful than the PlayStation 5. It's like, yeah, that's true during the beginning of the generation, whatever, what have you. But the Xbox One X is also more powerful, and we have been commending Xbox for the hard work that Phil Spencer and his team has been putting in. They are the most consumer friendly cons console, or yeah, console out there, with backwards compatibility. They first started with the Xbox 360 backwards compatibility. They added, the titles usually came out in waves, as we know. Then they started just releasing them as they came on, and then they introduced Xbox, original Xbox backwards compatibility. I feel like Sony is doing the same thing, because it's pretty much the same song sung all over again. PlayStation 5 is supposed to have at least the top 100 PlayStation games, which essentially means every single one of their exclusives will be available to play day one. Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, I would say maybe Infamous Second Son. I'm not entirely sure. Bloodborne, and what have you. Uncharted, The Last of Us. Excuse me, because I'm sure Last of Us Part Two is definitely going to break the 100 spot there as well. But they're slowly, surely be getting there, and I know a lot of people are kind of getting annoyed about this. But it's like, you guys didn't really care about backwards compatibility to begin with. And like a lot of Sony gamers made fun of Xbox for like, oh, who wants to play old games when you have all these great new exclusives? And now that they know that the PlayStation 5 isn't going to be backwards compatible with all the previous generations minus PlayStation 4, there's a lot of people up in arms on Twitter. But I wanted to get your thoughts.
I mean, I didn't watch it. I just saw people were like not happy. So I don't really have much to add. I'm not a PlayStation guy.
He is not.
I've only played PS2, so
PS2
yeah.
is the best. Definitely, it still holds the biggest games library of today. But I don't know. I like this kind of thing. Seeing all these companies, the trials and tribulations and all the the blood, sweat, and tears they make, for these hardware. And yes, the Xbox One Series X is more powerful than the PlayStation 5, but I will say from what you see on paper, you can't always just judge like, oh well, this 5 is greater than 3, so 5 is better. It doesn't always work like that. It also comes down to the developers. It comes down to what games are going to be on these things, because we don't even know. The only two games we know so far, since Xbox has been so transparent, is Halo Infinite and the new Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. From what I understand, I think there is a PlayStation 5 title that we kind of sort of know about, but it's nothing really big. But Halo is huge, and we just have to wait and see. These consoles aren't coming out until the very end of the year, around the holiday time, which apparently someone leaked online. I mean, Turkey Day, Xbox, but it
But
turned out
then
not
that
to be
got
Xbox.
shut down by
Yeah, by Larry Herb,
good
the
old Larry
Herb man
Herb.
himself, the Herb himself. But yeah, everyone, it as much as we say that, yeah, like the Xbox Series X is more powerful, and I'm very impressed with the specs myself. But it comes down to the games. It comes down to how the developers are going to utilize that hardware. So the power can be there. It's just up to the developers to, you know, figure it out for themselves. So I don't really have anything else to say about it, because I'll just go into more of a tangent as if I haven't already.
And
But
PC Master Race. Gotta throw that in
P-
there.
yeah, PC Master Race. But I will say one more thing about the coronavirus pandemic. Microsoft did reveal that they will be hosting a digital event in lieu of the now canceled E3, as well as Ubisoft. And so that's pretty cool. But
Yeah. Give
like,
us something to look forward to, I guess.
yeah, and another thing what I really like what Xbox will be doing really quick is, how there's, the remastered version of a game, but it has like the better enhanced graphics and what have you. Well, apparently, especially, well, that we know for now, the Gears 5 is getting a next gen version, and it will be free to anyone who already owns the current gen version, which I love so much. And they're doing the same thing with Cyberpunk 2077. If you already own the game, you should be able to own it across the board and get those enhancements for free, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and that's
Despite
gonna.
Gears 5's major issues that everyone in our friend
Well,
group has
yeah.
had.
Well, I mean, fair. I mean, to be fair, Halo was way more of a bigger property than Gears 5 ever was. Like, it's a cool shooter, but it ain't no Halo. So, but speaking of Halo, but and again, really quick, just wanted to, so for that PlayStation roadmap to E3, it was a breakdown of the system architecture. And that was supposed to be an event that was supposed to happen at GDC, that got canceled, the Games Developer Conference. And it was just, I knew exactly what it was going in. It's be a lot of tech talk. So anyone out there who was expecting something more, it's just not what it is. So, oh well, it sucks to suck. But I believe that pretty much covers everything that we've talked about today, man. I am feeling a little stuffy, but I think it's just because of all the talking I've been doing. But was there anything else you wanted to kind of touch on? Anything news wise that you saw last minute that you thought was interesting?
Not that I can think of. It's time to
All
go
right, then.
guns akimbo.
For everyone who is listening, we will be reviewing Guns Akimbo right after this. That will be coming out this Sunday. So keep a lookout for that. And what else are we thinking about reviewing? What did we say? Big Time Adolescence, I think it's called. I think it's on Hulu. I hear it's very good. A lot of people have been talking about it online, so I figure we can check it out. And I wanted us to check out Superman Red Sun as well, despite the train wreck of that Justice League versus the Fatal Five, which we had. Wow, that was just terrible. But I've read a lot of reviews for Superman Red Sun. It looks very, very interesting. Looks very promising as well. One of my favorite YouTubers actually did a video on it, and he gave it a lot of praise. So I'm very excited to check it out. If you are.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, man. Right. Well, as as that is said, everyone, that pretty much does it here for this is what episode seven. Episode 7. I'm gonna start putting that in there, but this it does it for the episode 7 of Film Optics podcast for our quote unquote headline hot takes there. And again, before we close out today, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, Podbean, iHeartRadio. Yes. So excited. Tune in as well. I believe that it's called Tune In. Yeah. And you can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Film Optics. Optics is spelled OPTIX. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Peace.